What's going on, foodie fam? So today we are doing the beef stroganoff. So let's get into the ingredients.
So the first thing we want to
All
do
right.
is
So the
actually
first thing we
season the
want to do
meat.
is we actually want to
This is
season the meat,
actually
and we're going to let the
just a
meat
regular
sit for
strip.
a second. Put it on the side. We have some nutmeg. We also have some black pepper, some cayenne pepper. You pretty much can season whichever way you like it. I like the black pepper and the cayenne. There is no salt in this because there's going to be a lot of salt in the chicken broth that we already have. So we're going to season this at least about 15, 20 minutes ahead of time before we get into the rest of the ingredients. But we want to season this very, very well. I'm using right now some steaks. So you can actually use skirt steak, which actually goes better with this, but I had two leftover steaks, and I decided to go ahead and use those. After that season, we're going to put this in the refrigerator for a
All
second,
right, so
and we
let's go
want to
ahead.
get our cast iron. Now, in the cast iron, I'm putting about half
Butter.
stick butter, and then I'm also going to use some olive oil. Yes, olive oil. Now, the reason why I'm using the olive oil with the butter is because I do not want to let the butter burn. A lot of times, what happens is most people they put the butter in and the butter burns. But if you put olive oil in, it won't burn. Now we're going to take our meat and we're going to spread it around and we're going to wait until we get a nice little gold color on it. We want to let it sit a little bit on one side, but we're just going to spread this around and we're going to let it sit. Now you want to put this at like a medium high, and once you do that, you're going to stir it around. Make sure. Now you don't have to get all the pink out because this is a steak, so you can get it like for a medium. But we are going to put this back into the sauce later, so it will continue to cook. But we do want a nice little sear or a little color on there, and we're going to add a little bit more butter. And the reason why we're going to add butter, some oil, and we're going to go ahead and start putting our mushrooms. Now, here's the trick with the mushrooms. You can actually wilt the mushrooms a little faster by adding a little bit more liquid. And what this is going to do is going to bring out the moisture of the mushroom. And then you want to let it reduce down until there's no liquid at all, and it gets a little brownness on the mushrooms. Now on this, I also added some minced onions, which I used the cheese grater, and some garlic, and I used the cheese grater. Makes it a lot easier. And now I'm going to add some flour. So with the flour, we're just trying to build a roux. This is going to be a gravy. So when we're using this as a gravy, we want rich flavors in this gravy. We're going to add the chicken stock next, and the chicken stock is going to, solidify the gravy. Now, if you notice, I basically did my chicken stock from scratch, but you can use an actual better than bouillon beef stock or just whatever chicken stock you have. And if you're using a steak and there's bones, add that to the chicken stock and you'll get more flavor. You'll actually pull out the flavor from the bones. So in this right here, this beef stock right here, it already had salt in it. So since there's already salt, I did not need to add salt. If there was no salt in the stock, then I would add salt. So I didn't have to worry about that. There was so much flavor in there. I'm going to add a couple dashes of Worcestershire and now my heavy whipping cream. And the heavy whipping cream is going to actually give it a little bit more richness to it. But we are going to add, now mind you, this is beef stroganoff. So normally when people use beef stroganoff to get that white color in it, they're going to add sour cream. Add sour cream in here to give another extra layer of flavor, and it's going to give a little bit of it's still going to give it a thickness to when you're adding the sour cream, but you're also going to get that little bit of extra flavor from the sour cream also. We're going to add some Dijon mustard and a little bit more Worcestershire. I already tasted it, so now I'm actually doing my noodles. Now you can use these egg noodles. You do not have to use egg noodles, but I had egg noodles, and normally they're used with egg noodles. And I don't normally cook my egg noodles all the way because they cook so fast. So with this, I actually want to cook my egg noodles probably about halfway, not completely. And the reason why is because I'm going to add the egg noodles back into the sauce. And I want the sauce itself to be absorbed in by the noodles. So the noodles will be saucy as you eat them, but this is going to be make sure that we get this in here. Now watch. We're going to put some egg noodles in right now. There we go. And these are, like I said, these are like al dente. So we're gonna get all this in there and we're gonna mix it around. And now, also, just to let you know, the pasta did have some salt in there, but it did not have a lot of salt in the water. The reason why is because I wanted the noodles to soak in, and here you go. All you need to do is add a little not parmesan, but a little parsley on top of it, and you're done. So, if you have any questions on this dish, this is an amazing dish. If you have any questions on it, let me know in the comment section.